Magnetic Men Club? We're back here on this Friday with another live for you guys. The topic for today is how to command attention. So, how to pretty much steal attention when you walk into a room, how to be the most noticeable person there, and kind of why that's important to do. Because obviously, that's something that can bolster up your career, that's something that can bolster up your dating life. You really just want to try and get those conversations opened up with key people. And what better way to do that than to be a noticeable person? I'm Chase. I got my good friend here, Jared.
What's up, kids? Sorry, I'm chewing on a lifesaver right now. I haven't eaten all day, so I've been eating these for like the last hour.
I feel you for sure.
There's just something in the system. But yeah, man, that's the topic of the day. I'm gonna give you guys a quick one right now. It's gonna be a funny one, but if you want anyone to really look at you and wonder what the hell's going on, just stare at them cross-eyed like this, and don't blink. Just stare. That'll get people's attention real quick. So there's another one for you. You're welcome.
I know you covered your top 5 actual ways to command attention and stuff too. I mean, I think they were maintain good posture, dress your best, exercise and get fit, grooming and hygiene, and then body language.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you've seen it before. I'm sure the audience has seen this too. The biggest one is everybody has poor posture, especially when they walk. Their shoulders are forward, their head's down. And really, the reason why their head's down is everybody's on their damn phones, and that's why your head's down. Well, I'm always about situational awareness, so I try not to be on my phone in public because with the way the world is, I want to know where my exits are. I want to know who's behind me. I got to know all those things. I'm wired a little bit different. Yeah, I'm wired a little bit different, but, try to get out of that habit. Just kind of know what your surroundings are. But that's a big one. Just your head's down. Once you're on that damn phone, you don't pay attention. You're completely zoned out from everything around you. So the best way to get people to notice you is be the one not on their phone. People are like, what's this guy doing? He's actually looking at people. He's talking. He's smiling. This is weird. He's freaking me out. Stop.
Actually paying attention to the world, right?
Pay attention to the world. Yeah, that's really the crush of it, man. A lot of people just don't do that these days. And it does, sadly, if I can be honest, it does freak people out when you're not on your phone. When you are, your shoulders are back, you have your head held high. It does freak people out a little bit. Like, what is going on with this guy? Is he casing the joint?
Yeah,
he's not like everyone else. But, there's a difference between kind of just being a little bit of a light in the room and then being creepy and casing a joint. You can kind of tell the difference, on people. But, so that is the biggest one. I was going to ask you, do you have anything to add? I know you're big on reading books and you're out there in the public's eye. So I did my top 5. I'm sure there's hundreds of them, but
yeah. For me, like, I've read a couple books on this. Like, there was one from Vanessa Van Edwards called Captivate that actually taught me a lot about it. Like, people just like kind of, your smile is everything. Your smile is like really your logo. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I like how you talk a lot about style too, and like actually dressing for the appropriate role and stuff too. Because the thing is too is like when I've gone to like masterminds and stuff like that, we always called it peacocking. Like, we always kind of wanted to go in there and like peacock the situation so that other people wanted to talk to us. Like, we wanted to look interesting, be interesting, so that we could open up engaging conversations. Because when you're at a mastermind, like, really, that's the best place to try and form partnerships and make money. And you got to talk to people. You can't just go to the freaking bar and just like wait around and wait for somebody to come talk to you. You can't just like be hunched over in the corner and only talk to people that you know. You really got to go meet new people, because all of the opportunities are on the other side of other people. And so that's one thing that I realized when I was at masterminds is like, you really got to peacock it. You've got to open up some conversations. And the best way to do that is to really stand out. You got to command that attention, because there's a lot of people there that are trying to command attention. And so you're kind of competing for attention when you're in a place like that. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing when you're at the club trying to compete for the girls and stuff too. It's the guy who gets noticed the most you're going to want to talk to, the guy who seems the most interesting, right? You don't want to be the guy over there just bobbing your head with your arms folded and that kind of stuff too. Like, I learned a lot of that stuff from How to Win Friends and Influence People too, which is the Bible for this stuff. Yeah. It all comes down to charisma, really.
Yeah. I was going to say a lot of the pickup artists, the community, they always talk about dressing and Kevin Samuels is a big one on that, and it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It is a form of peacocking, but he was always telling you to get suit Sunday, get in a suit on Sunday, the best suit you have, and go get ice cream or live your life, but just be in a suit and watch how many people come up to you, because that's not normal. So I don't do that, of course. I'm not in a suit all the time, but dressing is a good one. And you did say smile. I always get the resting bitch face for me. A lot of people, even in my pictures, they're like, Jared, nice pic, smile. And it's funny, like my girlfriend's the opposite. She has this beautiful smile, and that's her signature. Like everywhere you go, people know like her smile. Like she's just always smiling. I think she's on crack sometimes, but but having that, it really, and what she does, she is in sales. I mean, we're all in sales, but what she does is that's how she just folds people quickly. That big smile, she can name her price and people are like, okay, I'll pay that. And it works for her. I try to do that. I'm not always smiling all the time. And that's something I do work on, because I usually have that. It looks like you're going to kill somebody at any moment. And that when people know me, they think it's not me. But smiling is also a good way to push people's walls down. When somebody's got a very nice smile and they're just talking and they're just generally happy, it does command attention.
Well, you're more approachable, right? So that's the thing too. Is like you want to come off like you're approachable. You don't want people to like come in and try to avoid you. Like, I mean, like you see guys who have been in prison and stuff for a long time. They're all kind of tatted out. Mm-hmm. They don't want to talk to anybody. They kind of just like are really imposing. I mean, they command attention in their own right, but at the same time, like, they're not approachable. Nobody wants to walk and talk to them, start a conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's hard with me. I got a throat tattoo, my hands are tattooed. And then when I start talking to people, like, oh, he's not here to kill me. He's, so
it's true. Yeah.
There are some limitations to having tattoos and stuff, but I don't, it's not a hindrance. There's just some things I have to be aware of, that people might view me a certain way until I talk to them and I kind of like reassure them that I'm just, hey man, what's up? And then they're like, you're a life coach? I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
that's the thing that is like people don't realize, and like I don't think that we like to think this way, because some people will tell you like don't judge a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. And the reason they tell you that is because everybody has a predisposition to judge a book by its cover. Like they immediately try to like understand everything they need to know about a person within fractions of a second. They're like, I know everything I need to know about this person. I need to talk to them.
Yeah. They need to put people in boxes. And I do it too. I mean, we all do it, but as you get further along in life, you try to have an open mind, but we all do it. We want to compartmentalize that person and, this is this person, that's this person. Until you get to know them, then you're like, oh, totally didn't see that coming, Right. Well, yeah, smile is a huge one. Being able to have the permission or people to come up to you. It's good and bad. Some ways it's good and bad. I mean, like, again, my girlfriend, she smiles to everybody. She's happy. And I'm like, dude, all these guys are, come on, they're all coming up to talk to you. Like, why are they doing that? I'm like, hello.
You're approachable.
You're very approachable. And, but so there's a little bit of a double-edged sword there, but I err on doing that more, of course. Be approachable, because you never know. Back to this, having people be able to come and approach you, you don't know what their message is. You don't know. That could be your future boss. That could be a person that they know very well you're trying to get in front of and like, hey, that's my cousin, or you just don't know. So my top 5, and then adding smiling, I'm sure you got some other ones, is it's not commanding respect. A lot of stuff that I've done my research on is how to command respect. Well, that's kind of hard because respect's earned. It's not so much just given.
Right.
Now, you can respect somebody in a suit, like initially, but that's not respect. That's attention. And that person might be a complete dickhead, so you wouldn't respect them. So it's when people think of commanding respect, it's really commanding attention first. Just wow, there's something different about this girl, something different about this guy that is not the norm. And that is, of course, if you want that on yourself. If you don't want it on yourself, this is probably not the right life for you to be on right now, but there's good reasons why, especially if you're in sales, which we've said on this program hundreds of times, everybody's in sales. Unless you work for the government, they're just take. Everybody else is in sales. We are. You're selling your own brand. You are your own brand. So what you put out there is what you're going to get back. If you dress like a toddler, if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're still dressing like your kids, not color coordinated, you got too many big baggy clothes on for your frame, or the opposite, you're supposed to be wearing extra large and you wear large because you're in it. All of those things, that's your brand. And this whole channel is really about leveling up, but it's your brand. Everything you do is telling others what type of person you are. And so attention can be good or it can be bad. And we want to give the correct attention, give that good vibe out there to people to know, okay, this guy's a safe guy. He seems intelligent. He's well-dressed. He's smiling, good body language, which we can talk to about. So all of these things are very important in your brand, AKA what you sell. You sell yourself. That's it. All comes back to a circle. If you want to get more dating, more opportunities for dating, you're selling yourself. You want to get more opportunities in sales and to increase your income, you're selling yourself. No, Jared, I work at a car dealership. No, you don't. That's what you sell to make your income. If you're really good in sales and you're the top person in that car dealership, you can pretty much tell them what to do because you'll just go to another dealership and they know this. So having that brand, having your signature brand, and it's positive and it does a positive message and you're very good at what you do, you are your own salesman. I don't care what company you work for, you're your own salesman.
There's so many things that you can practice with this too to really get good at these things. Because I know with smiling, like you can't fake a smile. That's the biggest problem. Like there's no way to fake a smile. You can't walk up and just like try and fake a smile. Like you have to actually have a genuine good smile. And so that's something that you've got to kind of work on over time, because people know immediately if you're faking a smile. Like you can pick it out of a lineup. You could look at 10 different people smiling and you know exactly which ones are real or fake. Right. Subconsciously, like just subconsciously, you know this stuff. And this is stuff that was covered in that book, Captivate. And I know for a fact, like with How to Win Friends and Influence People, like being more interested in the other person than they are in you. Like there's a lot of different things that you can do when it comes to charisma, like your voice inflections, deflections, your posture, all that kind of stuff too. Talking with your hands is another way to really stand out too. Because like if you just kind of, you come in and you're low toned and monotone even, you're boring. Like immediately people start associating you. Like you've been in science class when, they're talking like this the whole time. And like, it's just, it gets boring. We can't even pay attention to that. And so that's the biggest thing, is understanding that you got to have voice inflections, deflections. You've got to start playing with your posture. You've got to start playing with how you talk and present things. And then like I said, don't just be the talker, be really interested in the other person. Be good at driving a conversation forward and holding your frame and controlling the frame too. Really having your options and stuff open. Because if somebody's boring, realizing that this room's full of people, I can go talk to these people over here. It's not a problem. But at least try to fill it out and get to know everybody else. Like don't overthink like whether somebody likes you or doesn't like you, because that's really going to cause you to be not likable. That's really going to cause you to overthink a situation. It's going to make it really stressful for you really fast. You just want to get out of that situation. It's whether you're trying to date, whether you're trying to network, whether you're really trying to improve your business connections and all that kind of stuff too. Like if you're at work, there's lots of different places that you can practice this stuff. But like I said, you really want to practice your posture. You really want to practice your smile, that kind of stuff. You really want to practice playing with your voice and really not being monotone, because that's the stuff that makes you stand out. That's what makes people want to come talk to you, because now you seem interesting. Right. And so you want to seem interesting. You don't want to come off as boring when it comes down to it too. And like that, this is stuff that I've learned just from networking over the years. Every time I go to a mastermind, like I said, I'm competing with 100 other people to try and get attention from the right people. And really, like I said, you're not going to be served hanging out by the bar. You're not going to be served hanging out over by the bathrooms and stuff like that too, or trying to be in the corner with your arms folded and waiting for somebody else to come over and talk to you. Like I said, even at the club, if you're just kind of sitting over in the corner and your arms are folded and your head's bobbing, like nobody's going to come talk to you. Nobody's going to come talk to you. That's the biggest problem, is you want to be the guy who's really standing out. I remember talking to one of my marketing friends too about this too. And one thing that he had talked about was he pointed out this YouTube video from years ago. Mm-hmm. And he said, this is what he's trying to do with his marketing strategy. He said the guy was just like at this concert and he was just dancing. Like, he was just crazy, just dancing, and he was doing this the whole freaking concert. Everybody else is kind of sitting around just bobbing their heads. And this guy's just sitting over there dancing. And all of a sudden, one other person joins in and starts dancing with him. And another person joins in. And all of a sudden, like 100 people are around this guy dancing with him because they're like, this guy's having a good time. This guy's having fun. And one of the key cornerstones of charisma is fun. You want to be a fun person. You want to come off as a fun and interesting person to be approachable.
No, perfect the way you said that. And a lot of people mistake the fun. Again, maybe you guys watching this, you can have seen this, or maybe you've done this. And you go into a bar and you got all these pretty girls, and all the guys are like in their corners talking to each other, like, "Oh, that girl's hot. Yeah, I would totally date her." And they get 3, 4, 5, 6 drinks in them. Then they get liquid courage. Then it's too late because now you're a mess, and the girl's like completely turned off because you're drunk and you're being probably a little bit too pushy. But back to you said, that one guy who is perceived that he's making a fool of himself, he doesn't care. He has enough inner validation. He's there to have fun. He's there dancing away. He doesn't care if he's good at dancing, bad at dancing. But what did he do? He gave other people permission to say, basically, they're like, it's okay. He can do it. I can do it. And so it's kind of just being what I call a showing up and showing yourself. And, again, dressing well and all this. This is just presenting your best self, but showing up and being seen. A lot of people have a hard time with that. I'm on YouTube videos, and of course you see some comments. I could care less. You like me, you don't. I have a message. I'm presenting my message. I'm showing up and being seen.
You do it anyway, yeah.
That's one of the best ways, like that guy dancing. He is being his authentic self. He's being seen. No judgments. I'm sure people were laughing at him, but that's, again, part of getting attention onto yourself. Having that ability, it's a little stressful. Well, it's always a little stressful when people are looking at you. And good or bad, you can feel it. You can ugh.
That's courage. Like, that's really what it is. Like, because everybody feels like everybody around them is judging them. Yeah. But what you got to realize is nobody cares about you at all. Nobody in there gives a crap about you. They all give a crap about themselves. They all care about how they're presenting and they're coming off. They're not even looking at you. And so, like, when you go into a place and you try to play it cool, you try to be the cool guy, you try to be stone cold, all that kind of stuff, you're not going to get noticed. That's the biggest problem with this. Like, you really, the guy who's kind of the class clown, the guy who's really having fun, the guy who's sitting around telling stories and getting everybody to laugh and that kind of stuff, that's the guy who's going to get all the attention. That's the guy everybody wants to know. Like, I'm sure you've been to dinner parties too, and there's a guy who's he's telling all the stories, and everybody's like, who is that guy? I want to get to know that guy. They want to go hear his stories. They want to go hear what he has to say because it's really interesting. I have friends like that who I've hung out with, and they have so many friends around town and stuff too, and they know everybody. I'm like, well, how does this guy know everybody? How is he so charismatic? And he goes and he's just himself, and he just tells his stories from his life, and he's just interesting. And so people, they are interested in hearing from him. They want to go talk to him. Like, he's got everybody laughing around. Like, he's got 10 people stand around him. Like, everybody's laughing. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's having fun. That's the guy who's going to get all the attention. That's the guy you want to be.
Yeah. And I like that too, because having experience, having stories, having funny trips you went on to, things like that, that also helps gather attention because you have a breadth of experience you get to talk to people about. things. You know, maybe you're a doctor watching this. I'm just throwing that out because they generally just talk to doctors. They're too intelligent or think they're too intelligent to talk to the common dude who's like the electrician or what have you. You know, having that ability to pitch and say, okay, I don't need to talk about medical shit right now. I'm going to talk to this dude. And like you said, then ask him questions or her questions. What do you do? I'm an electrician. Tell me more. How did you get involved in that? Well, my dad was an electrician. Oh my God, cool. You know, and like you said, and you brought up, which is a good point that I don't think I made in the video. So I'm glad you brought it up, is initially get the attention on you to give that person permission to approach you. But then by asking that person questions and really asking empowering questions, not like, what do you do? I'm an electrician. Cool. Well, you know what? I'm this, this, and this. Ask more. How did you get into that? Tell me more. How long have you been doing it? Then they start feeling heard. They start feeling like, wow, here's a tip, guys, for dating. You really want a girl to fall for you quick? Don't say a damn thing about yourself. Ask her questions, expand on those questions. By the end of the night, she's going to be like, oh my God, I feel like I know, I'm connected to him. You don't know, she doesn't know anything about you. You could use it for evil. Don't do it that way. But that's a way for anybody, is you get questions. You ask them questions, ask them empowering questions, ask them questions they've never heard of before, you know. Go up to a random stranger and be like, what do you do for work? I don't know. I'm a bookkeeper. Fascinating. How did you get involved in it? Like they're like, what the hell? What was the last book you read? Throw out questions that people are like, not, you know, the normal questions are, you know, we've done a video on that. It's just small talk. Well, this is a different way to do small talk, is throw something, you know, they've never heard before, and it makes them feel heard. It breaks their paradigm a little bit, and they're like, huh. So that's another way. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not just the conversation of back and forth. It's really sticking to that person and getting them so engaged that they want to know more about you. So that's a awesome point. I'm glad you brought that up.
I was actually kind of jotting some of these things down too, because I know we talked about your 5, but I would say like my 5 right now are pretty much smile, ask questions, be interesting, be fun, be authentic. Because these are all critical points. This is really how you get people's attention. The thing is too, is like, yeah, you can tell stories, but make sure you're interesting, make sure they're engaging, make sure those stories aren't really tailored and structured to get them to like you.
Right.
The stories just need to be interesting, and they just need to kind of have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And at the same time, like I said, that's really what attracted me to talk to that guy more, really to talk to anybody, is the fact that like when they're telling interesting stories, go up and tell them that the story was interesting. Go up and like try and engage with them more, ask them more questions about the story they were telling, and that kind of stuff too. Because the more questions you can ask, especially when it comes to dating, like we've talked a lot about how you want to maintain that air of mystery. You want to be mysterious, and you want to continue to be mysterious. You want to only really drip that stuff to them over time. That's how they get to know you. But at the same time, like I said, if you stay interested in them, they love to talk. People love to talk. They love to be asked questions, especially when it's stuff that they can answer. Because like you're walking into this, maybe you don't know what to say. Well, go ask them questions, and then they'll ask you questions back. And now we're having a conversation. We're learning more things about each other. Because the more we learn about each other, the stronger that relationship becomes. And so that's really the idea here, is the fact that like if you don't know what to say, just ask questions. Just ask simple questions. Like, what do you think of this that happened? Like, did you know that something outside just happened? Like there's a freaking car wreck or something out there? Like just try and get the conversation open and start to engage with it a little more. Talk about different, like maybe even news stories and stuff like that that are going. Interesting ones though, not really like you want to be crazy like with the news and like government and religion and all that stuff. You want to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Really, all of that comes down to like maybe there was a movie you saw last week. Ask them if they saw that movie. Ask them if they heard the new album from such and such artist, whatever. Like find out exactly what questions you want to ask. Write them all down, like just different things that you're interested in. Find out if they're interested in them too. And like if they're not interested in the things that you're interested in, well, what are you interested in? What kind of music do you listen to? Well, why is that? When did you start listening to that? what movies do you like? Well, did you see the new movie? Like, just start talking about different things from pop culture that they might be interested in, and just keep the conversation going. When you really get good at this stuff, like, you don't have to have anything saved. You don't have to have anything written down. Like, you just start to know exactly how to move a conversation, especially if you're in sales. This is really how you start to really build those sales relationships too with people that you want to buy from you. You ask them a lot of questions. It's an interview. It's an investigation kind of, and that's really what you're trying to learn. It's like, well, what exactly are you struggling with? Okay, well, tell me more about that. What have you tried? What happened in the past with that? Well, what'd you do about that? How did that go? And then you just keep that conversation rolling. And then they start to think like, oh, this guy really cares. This guy really wants to know what's going on. This guy really wants to help me out. And so they start to like you. And once you get to that know, like, and trust factor, then you start to build that respect up. And once they respect you, they're going to listen to you. They're going to listen to your recommendations, all kinds of stuff. And that's just sales and client relationships. But it works with women in dating. It works whether you're working in an office, whether you're trying to network and build new friendships, whatever you're trying to do. Like I said, this is just fundamentals of trying to build relationships. You'll learn a lot from books like Captivate. You'll learn a lot from books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to Win Friends and Influence People is really the Bible about this stuff. And that's really what he talks about, is like, be more interested in the other person. That's one of the key things you could pull out of that book.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny, all of your 5, I guess even smiling, you're more on touching their emotion, engaging in emotion rather than logic.
Right.
And I like that because some of mine were more on logic. Like, it'd be logical if a guy is well dressed, logically, he would gain a little bit more attention on the front end because he's so well dressed. You could get people to come up and, hey, you going to a wedding or what have you. Some of mine, I guess, really gauged on emotion, but back to sales, people always buy on emotion and back into with logic. Every sale is that way.
Right. Yeah.
So your key points, which are important because all of yours are based on, you not so much get them to like you, but get them to not fear you. Because we live in that you just don't know. There's, you're 6'4", 220 pounds. You're going to walk up to a girl who's 5'3", and all you want to do is say hi. You got to do it a right way,
Yeah, no, for sure.
So to me, from what I heard you say, is it was all emotional based. And then an emotional level, they feel safe. They feel heard. They let their wall down a little bit. Like, this guy's not here to hurt me. He's just being funny, and you might have, even in that context, made their day a little bit. Maybe they were having a bad day, and you were able to kind of affect their trajectory of that day. Maybe they had a really bad day, and you're just being funny. And hey, what kind of book? Oh my God, I haven't read a book in 3 years, and he just told me how to win friends and influence people. I should go get that book. You may never see this person again, but again, it's part of that, just dropping a little bit of sunshine, just kind of affecting a change in somebody's life, because you don't know where they are at that moment, in the coffee shop, in the bar.
Right.
You just don't know. So I love yours because yours are more based on emotion. Some of mine were based more on logic. Logically, if I don't smell like I have hot fish underneath my arms, on a logical side, if I was interacting with a female, her mind's already going to think, this is an example, he can't even take care of himself. How can he take care of me or a relationship?
True. Yeah.
So that's her logic brain just went there. Logically, she was turned off by smelling good and having deodorant and bathing, having a good fragrance. Emotionally, she's safe, or even the guy's safe, whoever you're meeting. They don't turn on the logical side initially, like, oh, you got a good fragrance, So I like yours. We might have to do another video on that one because you've expanded me on those. I'm like, you know what? I like yours just because they're more based on an emotional, on an emotional level than on a logical level. And I think you need both, but yours resonate a little bit more than me. Mine.
No, you absolutely do. I think that's very true, that you need both, because the thing is like, before we get into an interaction, we're thinking logically. Well, logically, what's going to make me stand out more? Like, obviously, your style. Obviously, it comes down to your posture. Obviously, all of it comes down to like your voice inflections, deflections, that kind of stuff too. Yeah. But at the same time, like when we're interacting, when we're actually in an interaction, none of that stuff's going to help you that much. Like really,
Right.
you have to be able to carry a conversation forward. You have to be interesting. You have to be able to ask questions and be more interested in the other person, not overthink it, that kind of stuff too, in order to build that relationship. And then the thing is too, is even in sales, like if you get somebody emotional and then you don't get the sale, well, they're going to go home and they're going to think about every reason why they shouldn't do it. They're going to start doubting. They're going to start thinking like, well, is there any other ways that I can do this? Or maybe I don't need this right now. Because then they start to get into the logic after the interaction.
Right.
And so that's the thing too, is like, I think it's the same with networking, whether it's dating, whether it's business, whether it's sales, it's just relationships and interacting with people in general. In any situation where you're interacting with somebody, you're going to think about it logically on the front end. You are. And it is important because, like I said, people are judging a book by its cover. Like it or not, they are judging you by your cover. If you come off like a scrounge, if you come off like maybe you're not taking care of yourself and stuff, that stuff matters. It does, because then they're going to really kind of figure out, like within fractions of a second, whether they want to talk to you or not based on that stuff. But if you can get the conversation open, you've got to be able to carry the conversation forward and be fun and be interesting and really smile and be approachable in that way too. But then after the interaction's over, they're going to sit and logically think about it again. Like when you're in your brain and you're alone, you're thinking logically. When you're talking to other people, it's all about emotions. Emotion is the only thing that really matters.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And another thing I like to not really point out, but how would you handle you're upbeat, you smell good, you look good, you're at wherever at an event. Somebody with bad energy will suck you faster than your positive energy. Darkness just seems to suck light quicker. And so how would you handle that? You're talking to people, you're vibing really good, and all of a sudden just you meet somebody. Because I've met people, and I'm sure people watching this, for whatever reason, they just suck the energy out of your soul.
So the only thing
than anything, it's like, how would you try to win them over, or would you just exit that and say, I can't deal with this?
Well, it kind of depends on the situation that you're in. Like, obviously, you don't want to go into a situation having to win somebody over. You got to keep your options open. You got to think from abundance. So whether you're trying to date more people, in that kind of a situation, you got to think, okay, well, there's a ton of other girls in the room. There's another club down the street. Okay, cool. Look, we're gonna figure that out. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
When you're talking to a boss, or when you're talking to somebody who's kind of above you and you need to win them over, like you have to be in that situation and realize, well, I can go get another job. It's not a problem. I can go do this somewhere else. I don't really care if I win this person over or not. You got to remove yourself from caring about winning the person over, because if you can't win them over and they're just going to kind of be a bump on a log, well, you got to move on. You got to move on to the next person. They're kind of wasting your time. They're wasting your energy. You got to build that energy back up. And so that's the biggest thing too, is walking into every kind of situation with an abundance mindset, realizing that you have options in this situation. You don't have to win this person over. You can try, and it's cool. And you can go in there and be fun and be engaging and be a little funny, be a little humorous, maybe poke fun at them just a little bit and see where you get. And if they just continue to be that bump on a log, because sometimes people will open up, just if you kind of poke and prod them a little bit, they'll open up. And then you're in a whole nother situation, because you came into that situation thing. Like let's take a situation with you, like for instance, right, where you're actually sitting there, you're kind of bitch faced, right? And it's like, okay, well, hey, I'm going to go talk to this guy though and see what's up. And so you start poking fun at it and like, okay, well, he's actually a really good guy. And then you open up and it's like, okay, that was a great conversation. I'm glad I actually walked up and talked to you.
Yep.
But like I said, if you're in that same situation and the person, they just continue to just not want the conversation at all, you got to move on. Just move on, get into another situation.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I mean, it's hard for me on when you did the boss thing, and probably for you, it was like, I haven't had a boss in so long. I'm the one, like, I got to win this guy over. But no, I think that's a good way of putting it. So there have been some situations in my life where you just meet somebody, and for whatever reason, maybe it's the mirror effect. Maybe it's a bias you have. I don't know, but you can just feel this energy. And for me, I've always felt know we're getting a little bit off topic. It's just better to exit it. You don't have to talk to everybody. You can always say no. And it's if it's going to bring your vibe down, just don't even worry about it. You know, that's for me.
Right. No, I think that's totally true too, because you got to protect your energy. That's a big thing too. Is like if people are really sucking the energy out of you, and like it's more energy than it's worth to stay in this conversation, just move on. Move on to somebody who does energize you, because that's the big thing too. Is understanding that like when we're interacting with other people, they're energizing us, we're energizing them. It's a mutual exchange. This is cool. Now we're building a relationship, and it's fun. Like I said, why do we socialize as people? What is even the point of making friends? What is even the point of trying to get new clients and things like that too? Because like a lot of people get into this stuff for the wrong reasons. Like they just want to be popular. They just want people to like them. If you're approaching things like that, you're good. That's not an equal exchange. That's the thing. It's like you got to walk into it being ready to like the other person, being ready to understand and know the other person and know things about them, not just walk into it trying to one up them and for like boasting and all that kind of stuff too. And like walking into a situation, like they tell you, oh, I just got a promotion, or, oh, I just bought a new car. Oh yeah. I bought a new car last week. What did you get? Like, oh, well, I got the freaking Porsche. Like, why would you get that kind of car? It's like, there's people that are like that too, that have kind of the, like where they've got to one up every single thing you say. You'll notice that with some people. And like, there's people that like to boast about things too. They'll come in like, I made $100,000 last week, trying to impress everybody around them because they feel like that's what makes them more likable. And it's like, no, being interested in the other person is what makes you likable, not trying to boast and like be popular and like really one up every single other person. Those are things that are really going to make you disliked. Right. And even trying to be the person like who has all the power in the situation. Like if you're actually walking into a situation, you need all the power and they're like, you're just trying to control the situation for that reason. You're not going to be likable. And so that's the biggest thing, is understanding that like, that stuff will get you respect. You got to kind of play that stuff the right way. But at the same time, you've got to be able to like, because you got to stand your ground sometimes. Sometimes people are going to poke fun at you and you got to stand your ground. It is what it is. And you got to be able to balance that stuff. But at the same time, like I said, if you want to be likable, you got to be more interested in the other people. You got to be able to walk into a situation and be charismatic and be fun and be interesting. But at the same time, like it's different in every single situation too. Because when it comes to sales, like I said, you got to be more interested in that person than trying to actually talk about all your features and why they should come with you and why you're the best person to work with. Because if you're doing that, you're not going to win anybody over, or you're going to win the worst clients in the world, or you're going to win the worst friends in the world that don't really want anything to do with you, and you're not going to energize them. They're not going to energize you. It has to be a mutual exchange, and you got to look at it like it's a mutual exchange, and you got to come into it with that abundance mindset too, realizing that there's so many other girls out there. There's so many other friends out there. There's so many other jobs out there. I don't have to win this every single time. It's cool. I'm going to go win. I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah, no, I like that. What you just brought onto that is, in a way, is what we call simping. And it's you can be a simp. A guy can be a simp to another guy too, and a girl is not. The root definition of the root call is simpleton, and it is that unequal exchange of value. And so when we're talking about commanding attention initially, obviously, there has to be some dialogue there of, again, I'm going to use, hey, you smell good. What kind of cologne is that? That is a physical way to maybe break somebody's thought for that minute. I'm like, what is that? Like you said, have a nice smile. That is a way people are like, hey, you have a really nice smile. You're not being a simp in that situation. There's equal exchange. You become a simp in that is if you're trying to get someone to like you for the purpose of a date or even for the purpose of a sale. I can't tell you how many people, have just emailed or out of the blue, like text or DM me for my other company. I love what you do. Man, this is awesome. I'm balding, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to, then you start interacting. Then boom, they hit you with a sale. Your funnel could do this. You're sort of simping because you're giving all this value. You're attempting to give value when there's not that exchange where we had a good vibe and then you changed it.
Right.
So in a way, that is what first came in my mind when you said that. I was like, well, that can be expanded into simping. It's not just a guy-girl thing, although most of the time it is. But having that just exchange where I feel I look at it this way. If you have something to offer and it's in a nice package, again, look good, smell good, I still get to hold ground to those things for initial intention.
Right.
But you have something to offer which goes into yours, that emotional offering. If you can get all those kind of put together, you're going to be remembered. Your name might not be remembered, but they might see you again. Or maybe you have said, hey, well, here's my card, or hey, I'm busy. What's your Instagram handle? Can I follow you? Stuff like that. You just never know where these conversations can go.
Well, that's the thing too, is I've been in a lot of these coaching programs with a lot of other agency owners and marketers and people who do that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys will take a script from their guru, from their coach, whatever, and they'll just freaking paste it and paste the person's name in or whatever, right? And then they start saying that out to as many people as possible. Yeah. Then they try to offer value, and it's just fake value. They don't care if they're helping you. All they want is your money. All they care about is getting that sale. It's the same thing in dating life too. Like when you walk up to a girl and the only thing you want to do is have sex with her. So what do I have to say to get you to like me so you can go home with me and we're going to do this, right? And it's like, if that's your goal, you're going to have a bad time. Yeah. If you have to get the sale, you're going to have a bad time. Right. If you have to get this girl into bed, you're going to have a bad time. And so my point is, walk into every situation just wanting to have a good time. Like that's really all it is.
No, I love that.
Just wanting to actually build a solid relationship with a person, wanting to make new friends. Because that if you approach sales that way, where you're just like, basically the way that I've always approached sales is like, if I see somebody that I admire in the market, I'll go reach out to them and tell them exactly why I admire them. Like, hey man, I saw that you had this and this was really cool. I really admire what you're doing. Or I saw that you just won that award. Congratulations, man. I just want to tell you congratulations. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Now the conversation's open. If they come back, like obviously, like, dude, I just want to be your friend. Like that's all I care about. Like if this moves into a situation where I can help you, I will do what I can to help you. Like, but you don't need the sale. I need the relationship and I need the friendship. I don't need the sale. Right. And the same thing's true in dating too. If you walk into it, you're just trying to get to know this girl. Like, hey, I just want to know more about you. Can you tell me, like, you seem like you're interesting. Can you tell me a little more about you? Can you tell me a little more about what you're into? Now you're just becoming a friend, right? And so that's really the biggest thing, is understanding, like, I'm trying to have fun right now. I'm trying to make sure that I have a good time in this exchange. I'm not trying to get anything out of it. That's where we talk about the simping, right? Like if you have to get this girl in bed, same thing in sales. If you have to get this sale, you got to get this person's money. You got to get them to buy it. You got to hard line them into it, like the Grant Cardone tactics and that kind of stuff. That's really what this is, right?
No, I like that. Besides, like you said, besides just offering value, like you offer that guy just value. Hey, I enjoyed reading this blog, or you had this award. That's awesome, great. You gave value, but you didn't sell anything. Just gave him value. Okay, edified. Maybe edifying is a better word. You edified somebody. Can even look at that as just going, again, basic, guys, basic coffee shop, right? Wherever you are, you got a pretty dress. You're not saying you got a pretty dress, take it off. Pretty dress. I love the color on you. You gave value. Again, I always try, not all the time. I got a lot of different companies, and sometimes, I don't always practice what I preach. And I'm going to tell you, any influencer out there, anybody, they don't either. They're full of shit. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days. That's true. But I do try to look at every situation, every new person I interact with that clear lens, just having that, what is this person about? Is it somebody I can connect with, or is it somebody I'm just passing through and I just want to give them, you're doing good today, or make them feel good in some manner, And I guess the only time I don't do that is with my coaching clients, because it is more professional and it is a blank canvas where I'm not bringing any bias onto them and we're reshaping theirs. It's a little different. It is a little bit different. I wouldn't walk around in life like that.
True.
Because, talking to people like a coach all day, people are like, they would just call you all the time with all their problems. Like, what is this? I'm like, you haven't paid me, buddy. That's a different service. But, having that blank canvas in that sense of just, you don't know what this person can offer, and you did bring it up a good point before where, or maybe I brought it up and you expanded on it, is that value. Just have that value mindset. What can I do in this world, in this moment? Maybe I'm at an event, and yes, you want the sale. Of course you want the sale, but that's not your initial thing. You want to give information, information on you, information on who you are as a person. And by asking those questions and just getting them engaged, you're actually giving them a lot of information. You're giving them information not on the sale, but on who you are as a person. And again, people buy anything you think about. They buy from people. They don't buy from companies. They don't buy from businesses. They buy from people.
Exactly.
And you can even expand that to, you could argue, corporations. Like up here is Wegmans. It's a huge grocery store. They really don't offer anything different, but they're very high end and they have great foods and stuff, but their prices are freaking ridiculous, where they have lower end grocery stores. But you buy from that pattern of like what you resonate more with the people at Wegmans than maybe you resonate with the people at a different store. And so if you can come into that frame on the people that you want to attract in your life, or the people you are attracting into your life, you're at their level for the most part. If you want to level up, you need to attract or vibe higher than than people to get to that level. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, it all comes down to relationships, like I said. So like if you're just initially like cold reaching out to somebody, the biggest thing is understanding that we don't need this person to buy today. We don't need this person to buy next week. It doesn't matter. I'm looking for opportunities where I can help you, because the biggest thing is understanding there's a customer journey at play here. And if you're going to follow through the customer journey, you got to understand that when you've just opened up awareness, like this person doesn't know who you are. Yep. They don't know what you solve. They don't even know if they have that problem. And so really when it comes down to it, you're trying to get their attention. Like you got to understand there is a nurture phase. There is a phase that we have to go through where we have to educate this person more on what we do. Yeah. And so we've got to kind of open the conversation up that way. Well, have you heard about what I do? Have you heard about this thing? Have you heard about what it does? Well, hey, it solves these kinds of things. And, have you had any of these issues in the past? Have you tried any of this stuff in the past? Well, tell me more about that. Yeah. Then once they tell you more about it, say, well, I've actually solved that. I've got solutions for that. I can show you exactly what it does and how it looks. If you want to jump on a call, I'd be happy to break it down for you. Right. And just keeping it friendly and keeping it engaging. That's just sales, though. The same thing works when you're trying to build any kind of relationship up at all. Like you've got to be able to offer that value and then invite them to learn more. And if you invite them to learn more and they don't want to learn more yet, okay, well, great. Let's just keep this conversation going. We'll keep this relationship going. And I'm here to help you. If you need any of this stuff, I'm happy to help take a look at anything you want me to take a look at. It's cool. And just keep offering that value until they're open to hearing more about what it is that you actually have to offer. Right.
And by you giving that value freely, without judgment, without that thought that they need to give me anything back, it does open that up to that. It's not that you don't care. I mean, obviously we all, we've done external and internal validation, and it's not like, no, we don't care, but it's when you practice this enough and you really just come from a place of joy, or you try to. I mean, again, I'm not perfect, guys, but come from that place of joy, come from that place of you're here to teach somebody or learn from somebody. I don't think there's any accidents in the people that come into your life. I really don't think there's an accident. Now, there could be a situation where you had a bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend and you did not want that situation, but it happened for a reason. We don't know whether you call it whoever your God is. We're not going to get into that, but it taught you something. And so when I go into, everywhere I go, I try to either give a compliment or even I always go to the local Dunkin' Donuts, the same Dunkin' Donuts every day. I know all the girls there. I know all their names. And it's just a quick hi. Hey, Beth. Hey, Tina. And I'm just boom, boom. And they know I'm a regular, but they also have, it's that exchange. And they know I'm there to give them money. I'm there to get my damn iced coffee because I can't live without an iced coffee. But kind of being that light. I mean, I don't ever go in there pissed off. I don't, even if I just had a bad day, I'm not going to take it out on other people. I try not to anyway. And in one way, that is kind of getting attention. And well, it's really respect at that level, but it is gaining that attention. You know, you walk in there, and I've had it where the line was like 8 deep. And because there's that routine, because there's that thing, I've had them say, hey, come here, come here. And they'd sneak me the iced coffee, like, get me tomorrow, no problem. And I'd skip the damn line. So if I was a sourpuss and every day I went in there and I'm like, oh, iced coffee, you know, I was always just mean to them, like they were beneath me, that would have never happened. And that's happened way more times than probably needed to. But they know, again, this is a good guy. You know, he makes us feel awesome every time I'm there, high-fiving people. They're like, what the hell? Grab my iced coffee, give them the $4.20, and I'm out the door. I always try now later in my life to just give that value, just give freely as best as I can, offering something to somebody, you know, during the day. So, you know, maybe you can speak a little bit more on that.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's better to just sort of be a light. Yeah, I wish I could emulate, is that the right word? The way my girlfriend really, I mean, she's just a freaking, I mean, I'm not saying because I'm with her. If I didn't know her and I saw her walking into a place, it's a freaking light bulb, like, holy shit. Not because she's good looking, it's just her energy. It's freaking insane. And she gets massive attention. So I kind of think about like that with her sometimes. I'm like, all right, maybe I can just, you know, not going to dress in high heels, but, you know, that attitude that she has. So maybe you can expand more on that. But I love that. I love that energy that people give off, and you're just known. Like, people just know you.
Yeah. No, I've been able to do that every place I've ever been. Like, I lived in Las Vegas for a decade pretty much. Yeah. And I remember living in each house that I had there. I always had my same convenience store. I always had the same guys at the counter. I knew everybody at the counter. I knew everybody when I was in my small town in Brigham City, Utah.
Yeah.
And I knew everybody at the convenience store. And every time I'd walk in there, they knew exactly what I wanted. They knew exactly what I was there for. And it was cool. I've been able to build that relationship in Vegas, Brigham City. Even when I came down to Cabo here, like, I was a little worried about it because, like, I didn't know Spanish when I first moved here. But over time, like, these guys, they start teaching you Spanish. They start teaching you what to say. They start teaching you the right things and stuff too. And it builds that relationship in that way too. Because now I can walk into the convenience store we have down here, just right down the street, and say, lo mismo. Like, if I walk in there and say lo mismo, it means the same. Just give me the same. Like, quinceañera lo mismo. And so they just know exactly what to make me. I can go in there, say that, walk over, go grab my drink, and start getting my other stuff ready. Walk back, grab my stuff, and I'm good to go. And like, it's a really cool exchange. Yeah. I like it. They like it. We're all having fun. It doesn't matter if they switch out the employees. The new employees quickly get to know me because of the other guys that are there and stuff too. Mm-hmm. And so it's really, really cool. I mean, to be able to build those kinds of relationships, because it's stuff that you don't really consider. Like, you want to be part of your community. That's part of being a man. Men are concerned with the community. Women are concerned with the home. So women want to make sure that the home is all good. Men want to make sure that the greater community is all good. So you got to be part of your community. You got to be able to walk out there and really understand and know the different people, know your neighbors, go say hi. It's really important for that kind of special feeling that you get from forging those relationships too.
No, you said a mouthful there, but yeah, I mean, a lot of that just goes to, if you are struggling with this, maybe again, it's harder when you're younger. And again, for whatever reason, our statistics show 18. It did tick up again, but 18 to like 25, we're reaching, and it's shocking to me because I'm 48. I don't think how the hell you're gonna listen to me, but if you are looking for more opportunities in your life, if you're looking to, not so much, I don't want to say level yourself up, but be able to be in a position where there's an opportunity and you get to execute on the opportunity. The 5 tips that I gave you, again, it's dressing your best, always dress just a little bit better than the situation you're in. good grooming habits, shoulders back, head held high. Oh my God, the other one was I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, I've got them all right here. We got maintain good posture,
Yep,
dress your best,
yep.
exercise and get fit,
Exercise, yep, of course.
grooming and hygiene,
Yep.
and body language.
And the body language. So those 5, but then couple that with really more of the back end stuff, which Chase brought, is that smiling and coming up with a good story, or just maybe just not being outcome dependent, become outcome diverse in this situation where you don't really care, you're just having fun, you're just trying to make somebody's day good. If you can do these things and practice it, there will be opportunities, whether it's dating, whether it's you never know if you met some damn CEO just at Dunkin' Donuts who just fired some guy who he loves your vibe and he wants you to come in for an interview on sales. You just don't know. You have no idea where these opportunities come from. If you play it small, like most people do, then you'll never get the opportunity. That's the point of the video that I made. The point of the live that we're doing now is you want to put yourself in the best situation to get the most opportunities. And then you get to kind of say, I don't really like that opportunity. I love this opportunity. This is amazing. And that's how you get choice. Of course, the more choices you get, the better you can become better yourself and your family. That's what you want. That's the whole goal.
Right.
And you can affect change in that person, because that's also a win-win,
That's actually a whole other aspect to this too.
Yeah.
Like being more charismatic makes you more influential.
Yeah.
And so if you really want to build your influence, charisma is a good place to start. Confidence is a good place to start, because obviously the more influence you have, the more respect you'll have. All these things kind of work interchangeably with each other, and being able to talk to people and build relationships and have that charisma and be interesting and make people want to know more about you, like whatever that mystery is, whatever. Like I said, whether you're trying to date, whether you're trying to get sales, whether you're trying to move up in your company, whatever it is, you've got to deal with people, and all the opportunities are on the other side of other people. And so the better that you can get at handling people and the more charismatic that you become, the more influential you'll be, and the more that you can actually influence and persuade decisions and other things like that too. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're trying to get the girl into bed. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get the sale. Like I said, that shouldn't be your goal. You really got to be detached from whatever outcome that there is. Just have a good time. Just go into it wanting to have a good time.
Right.
And just be fun and be interesting. That's really what makes all the difference here. But like I said, that's really what gives you influence. That's really where you're going to be able to influence other people's decisions and the things they do, and the decisions that they try to make and stuff too, because all of that stuff affects us. And so if we really want to be influential, whether it's even in our own home or with our parents or at work or with women or with sales, that's how you build influence. And that's really what moves into next. And we need to make some videos, I think, on this stuff, on charisma in general, front end charisma, back end charisma, confidence, influence, persuasion, all of that stuff. Because really, we're trying to market ourselves, and we're trying to build a strong personal brand on the front end. And if you guys really want help with that kind of stuff, that's the stuff that we're working on in our community right now too, is like basically how to take control of your finances and achieve ultimate freedom. If you really want to be like me and be a digital nomad and travel the world and do whatever you want and be financially independent in that way, or if you really want to build a strong, enduring franchise and you really want to have that legacy to leave behind, then Jared can obviously help you with a lot of that stuff. But really, it all starts with being charismatic. It all starts with building that influence. It all starts with building that confidence and becoming a real well-rounded person. If you guys really want to know more about that, then I encourage you to jump onto our website, which you find a link below. Go to our contact page and tell us that you want to meet with that free breakthrough session. And let us know exactly what you're struggling with and exactly what you want to talk about. We're happy to talk to you guys on those conversations, and we're happy to really dig more into that stuff. So if you guys want some more help with that, then I encourage you to go fill that out and take that first step. If you guys want more courseware on this stuff and you really want to dig deeper into it with structured content that we have on the back end, then obviously reach out to me, comment here, let me know, and I'll be happy to send that information.
Yeah. This is a good one today, and actually you taught me a lot, or opened my eyes up to a lot, where I think another video has got to be
Yeah.
Created around your topics or your top 5, because I think it's very important. Maybe I'll just create a full top 10 now and re-expand on it. But no, yours were spot on. So I appreciate your, kind of bringing those up. I love these lives because they're unscripted, guys. You can probably tell, we're not, I don't get this script. I don't get, hey, literally I'm working all the way up until this time. And Chase like, you ready? I'm like, yeah, what are we talking about? Oh, that last video.
That's the same for me. Yeah. It's just a conversation. Really? Yeah.
Exactly. And those are, and you can tell like some of the live videos that you do see on YouTube, they're all scripted. And sometimes I think AI wrote them all, and they just come across stale, cold. I don't want that. Chase and I, when we developed this channel, you even go see my YouTube videos. They're edited down a little bit, but most of them, there's no script per se. There's a topic, there's an idea. I'll do some research on it, but it's really just me vomiting out stuff from my own experiences, and I'm coming from there. And Chase the same way. He just started a whole series. Guys, watch that. Go to our YouTube channel. I think the second video came out this week, but he's educating you guys on the 5 types of businesses you can start now on the cheap, depending on skill levels. So watch those, because we're not just talking about our mental health, which is very important. That's kind of where I get into, but we want to level up on finances. So Chase is starting that series. I'll do some series on real estate because that's what I know. Franchising, I'm actually going to bring in somebody who developed our franchise, and I want him to come in and kind of talk about that, and give an opportunity to talk about that. And then, of course, other harder businesses to kind of get into, but we do have a community coming up where we're going to drop in free content. You pay for a monthly subscription, but all the content we dump in there, all these different business ideas that you can start, those are all free. And we're going to be talking about those individually. The last thing I want to talk about, I want your comments on it, because I know we're going a little bit over time, but I have another series of videos on cooking, and it's my girlfriend. She's a phenomenal cook. But the way she cooks, we want to develop a series, some free videos for men. Maybe it's your first date. Maybe she's just coming over to your house. You're going to hers. We want to create very basic, easy recipes that you can learn quickly, very basic ingredients, but it's really going to wow her. And it's also, if you're just a single guy and you're tired of eating out all the time and eating Hungry Man Jack, we want to create that, but I want to hear from the audience. We're going to do a poll on it too, because it does cost us money and time to create them. So if it's something you're not interested in, but I think you're going to love it, because surprisingly how easy she makes it seem. I'm sure it's harder, but she just makes it very simple. Like, this is what you need to do, blah, blah, boom, blah, boom, freaking meal. Crazy for me, but I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear from it, because we can create those series, dump them again in our paid subscription thing. But maybe every month we can refresh it and create easy breakfast ideas, easy lunch, easy dinner, whatever it is. If you're a single man watching this and maybe you have your kids every other weekend or what have you, this might be a good thing for you, because maybe you are on a budget and you can't really afford to take them out all the time, but you suck at cooking. This could be a good segue that we can really expand on and say, you can make this and your kids will think you're amazing because you made this awesome food and it took you 10 minutes. So I do want to hear from the community on that before we start shooting that. But I really think that would be an amazing thing to help us level up too. Learn to cook, learn to take care of yourself. So I want to hear from the community on that.
Yeah. We'll put that poll out this next week. So please engage with that poll. Let us know exactly what you guys want to hear, and let us know exactly what we can cover with that, because that's some really cool stuff. That's stuff that I don't think a lot of these other channels are covering too, because everybody's always talking about dating and how to get better at dating and all that stuff. And I think that, we really want to be well-rounded men here. Yeah.
And again, a lot of my content is around dating, but really not. It's around relationships. It's around different coaching ideas. It's not a dating channel. As a matter of fact, if you booked a call with me and you said, I just want to get better with girls, I'm going to shift that. Like, you just need better relationships. But if you're hard and fast, I only want to get better with women, I'm going to refer you to another coach who's going to do that, because that's not inherently what I do. Or Chase, we're here as a well-rounded, the channel's around well-rounded people, not I'm really good at getting laid. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Great, good for you. We want to say I'm really good at relationships, or I'm getting better every day at relationships. Part of that is a great sex life, of course. Family life, friends life, associate life. That's what makes a magnetic man. That's what makes somebody full stack. Not just I get my you-know-what wet every night whenever I want. Who cares? Great for you. So yep. I know we went up 5 minutes over time. I don't want to take up any more people's more time, but we have an amazing batch of content we're about to drop, and we just want to keep this channel growing. So if you do have somebody who you feel like needs to watch these videos, or maybe you're not ready for a call, but you know somebody who is, give them the link to our website. The calls are free, they're confidential, and we're here to help you.
Exactly. That's exactly it. All right, guys. You guys have a great weekend. We will be back here this next Friday with another topic for you all. Like I said, if you guys need some help, the link's below. You guys can comment on this video. I'm happy to send you more information. So just let us know what you guys want to see. Watch out for that poll next week, and make sure you guys engage with that. But we'll see you guys next week.